And welcome to Between Bells. At just 23 years old, youth activist Daphne Frias has already made an impact on major events that have shaped this country. And because of this, Frias is being recognized by Univision as an agent of change at Premios Juventud, or Youth Awards, Juventud rather. And she joins us now. Daphne, welcome to the show. What was your reaction to finding out you'll be receiving this award?
Hi, Ken. So nice to be here with you. It was an incredible honor, really. I've been working as a youth organizer and activist for almost 5 years now. And, really doing this work is from my heart for my community, first and foremost. And when I started this work, I never did it to receive any sort of recognition or accolade. So to be receiving this award as a young Latina from Univision, one of the biggest Hispanic networks in the country and in the world, is really a huge honor.
So what are some things that you have done in your resume that are just so impressive that makes you the perfect candidate for this award?
Sure. So I'm extremely an interdisciplinary intersectional activist. I am disabled. I have cerebral palsy, so I used a wheelchair to navigate. Wow. I work primarily within the intersections of gun violence prevention, disability justice, and the climate crisis. And on first glance, I feel like many folks will wonder, how can all of those issues be interconnected with each other? Mm-hmm. And for me, the way I see it is that they all have public health ties, and they need a public health approach in order to be tackled. Mm-hmm. So in 2018, I began organizing with March for Our Lives, you see in this photo. Yep. And in 2019, I was named as their New York State director. So I oversaw their whole entire New York State program, over 20 chapters. I have recently stepped down from the role, but I am also a UN ambassador. I work to help promote the voice of young people within the United Nations. I've been so incredibly lucky to have my voice on large platforms to fight for disability justice and disability visibility, as well as the climate crisis and gun violence prevention.
Yeah, another thing that you've done, you've also created the bipartisan initiative called Box the Ballot. Can you explain what it is and why this project is so important to you?
Sure. So in the 2016 election was the first time I was eligible to vote. And for me, I was so incredibly excited, but I was also voting from my college campus. So that meant that I was voting away from the polls, which meant I had to use the absentee ballot process. And navigating that process was incredibly difficult. Yeah. There were many deadlines, a lot of paperwork that I didn't realize had to go into the whole process. And I consider myself to be a very politically engaged young person, but I thought, if I was struggling, imagine all of the other young people of voting age on college campuses who are struggling as well. So I created Box the Ballot right before the 2018 midterm elections, and we harnessed the power of young people on college campuses and have them actually be Box the Ballot captains and election leaders to help collect their classmates' absentee ballots and get them delivered on time to the appropriate Board of Elections offices. In 2018, we collected over 370,000 ballots in just under a month. And then this past presidential election, we had to completely switch up our strategy because of the pandemic. So we actually created the first of its kind drop box ballot system, where we actually delivered drop boxes to young people all across the country and allowed them to be leaders in their community by collecting their neighbors' ballots. And we were able to distribute 2,000 drop boxes across the country, which amounted for a little over 20,000 ballots.
Wow. And what do you say to those politicians who are blatantly making it more difficult for people to vote?
What we've been seeing happening in states like Georgia is completely unacceptable. Our civic engagement and our civic duty as citizens and voters of this country is one of our greatest powers and one of our greatest ways to enact change. And I simply think that it's a cowardice move to limit people's ability to vote. The reason why things like this is happening is because they know that if the voice of America is truly and rightfully represented by making sure that every single demographic is represented, that the way that things are would drastically change. And frankly, I think many politicians are afraid of that drastic change. So they're trying to stifle and censor our voices as much as possible to keep the status quo in their favor.
Wow, and you were recently named one of the Women Miss Magazine's 25 under 25 women of color to watch. You are truly a trailblazer. Why is taking action a priority in your life right now at such a young age? You're 23.
Yeah, so I always say that whenever you feel called to do something is when you are ready to do it. There is no right age and right time or right situation to start making a change and to get involved into something that you feel passionate about. And for me, when I started social justice work, I never had seen a young disabled Latina be a leader, be a change maker. And I wanted that status quo to change. I wanted that narrative to change because I know that there's so many people out there like me who have powerful voices and have things that they're passionate about. But because society continues to silence the voices of people like mine, we often don't see ourselves in spaces like these. And I knew that I wanted to make a difference that way.
Wow.
Additionally, I am a second year medical student, so I'm getting my master's of
There
public
you
health and my
go.
MD. So
Wow.
again, changing the status quo to have a disabled Latina doctor, to have doctors with
Good.
disabilities be the norm. And that's incredibly important to me. So not only am I practicing a path of public health and my social justice, but I'm also a scholar of public health. So
Wow.
it really goes hand in hand with all the work that I'm doing.
You are doing amazing. Daphne Frias, you can see Daphne receive this honor at Premios Juventud, July 22nd at 7 p.m. Daphne, thank you so much.